Tim, it's been a while since we've seen Spurs fans smiling like that.
They weren't smiling at half-time, the fans, but the players looked like they enjoyed it. It's good when you turn it around, you know, from a negative performance in the first half, which was a real letdown to the fans and to the players themselves, and certainly to Antonio Conte. And then he sent him out. He had nothing to lose. You know, they were going to lose that game. It was going to go to a defeat. He's obviously had strong words in there, set out a few principles, told them to be a little bit more aggressive out of possession. We saw that. Centre-backs were stepping in. Whenever a Leeds player come off, they were coming up and up the backside really tight, pushing them into the midfield. And when they actually won the ball, they started pressing it forward, you know, and risking in possession, dribbling with the ball, getting past people. Certainly the wing-backs pushed on high. Reggie on himself, he said he was dead. They bring on Sessegnon. He's obviously said to him at half-time, give us everything. We've got a big squad here. If you run out of energy, we'll bring someone else on and do the job. And they got the job done in the end. It's
quite telling, isn't it, hearing Sergio Reguilón talking about how he hates the training, the intensity levels. This is the start of a very exciting, if not tiring, journey under Antonio Conte.
What, players working hard?
Yeah, unheard of.
That, isn't it?
Yeah, we get HR on the phone. That's terrible. Like running, having to run.
Yeah.
Wow.
What, and keep fit as a professional?
Yeah, get paid to keep fit. Terrible.
Yeah.
You better get used to it, because we know from previous experiences and players that have worked with him that he works hard, he demands, and he wants the very best every single day, and he wants them fit. Whoopee, football has been fit. It's amazing. There'll be more of it. They'll get better. They'll understand the system, what he wants to play, and they'll understand him the longer it goes on. Yeah. And Spurs will improve from now on, I've no doubt.
What did you make of the reaction at full time?
I thought it was great. I think he knows what he's doing.
The stadium was buzzing, wasn't it?
Antonio knows exactly what he's doing there. He did it at Chelsea, didn't he? You know, that time when he come in there. You know, it's a club on the low. That's why he's arrived at the club. Chelsea finished 10th. They finished 10th the season before he arrived, out of all European football. That's no secret why he turned them into champions that year, because there's time to work, implement his ideas, hard training sessions without the interruption of midweek games. Now, the games are coming thick and fast now. The boys will get fitter, without doubt. I thought it went on a bit long. I thought it was going to bring the trophy out in the end and parade it around. But he knows exactly what he's doing. He's getting his crowd up. They were look at that reaction. I mean, they've just beat Leeds, who are clinging on to safety in the Premier League. But, you know, congratulations, they turned it around. I think it's the emotion of being so bad in the first half and turning it around. But look at these boys. You would think they've won a trophy. In the end, I think with this reaction, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's got all these fans pumped up. We're talking about the same fans who booed him off at half-time, Al.
Which was incredible.
Yeah, but I also think that's a message that he's sending out to his players. If he can be that passionate, you can see him that demanding on the touchline. He's kicking every single ball that those players kick. He's up and down the touchline. He's onto the officials. He's onto the players. You can see him cheering for the fans. That's him. But he's also sending that message to his players that he's going to be demanding, but he'll demand off himself as well.
Absolutely, and I think that's key. I mean, at half-time, he needed the ice bath, not the players. They hardly moved. He was just marching up and down that technical area, pointing, telling them where to go. At half-time, you could see he could not wait to get in their dressing room and tell them what he thought of it.
Yeah, but he's got that strength of personality to make that 65,000-plus stadium come alive, and that's something in itself.
It's charisma. I think that's what they needed. I think this is a guy still hungry to succeed. Yes, they had Jose Mourinho there, coming towards the end of his managerial career, I would suggest. I think this guy is still hungry. He wins everywhere he goes. It's going to be a big job to win at this one.
Yeah. You mentioned the saying already, chalk and cheese to the first half. Have a look at the average formations of Tottenham, both in the first 45 to the second 45. How telling is that for you, Tim?
I think if we just look at Emerson Royale's position, you know, he's kicked him right on, isn't he? You know, Reguilón was a little bit similar, but a little bit further forward. Harry Winks, look at his position, like Højbjerg. You know, these boys have just moved forward into forward areas, but it wasn't just that. It was like Davis as well. It was the centre-backs. We talked about the centre-backs being spare and stepping into midfield now. I think they did it well out possession and in possession in the second half. They had to.
Yeah, it was absolutely everyone, the whole of the Tottenham team, particularly the wing-backs, particularly Moura as well. What they did in the second half was the front three, played as a front three, but they also, to left and right, they had the two wing-backs, and Royal and Reguilón, right up the park. So, in other words, Leeds, they were going to say to Leeds, if you want to be brave, you're going to go man-to-man with us. So, all of a sudden, Leeds had 6 men back, whereas in the first half, Leeds could go and batter and press and do their job that they like to do. The second half, they weren't able to do that because all of Spurs, or 5 or 6 of their players were further up the field. Everyone got at least 10 or 15 yards further up the park. And Leeds couldn't handle that then. And that's what he demanded at half-time. And they did it really well.
Lacklustre in the first 45. And in those opening exchanges of the second 45, you could tell their ears were still ringing from some dressing down talk from their new manager.
Yeah, first mistake that Phillips had made in the game, that one. And Harry Kane gets this one. You think, oh, he's just certain to score. Goalkeeper Melier makes a decent enough save, gets a little bit lucky, hits his ankle and hits the post. But the writing was on the wall from there. It was this press. Look how many Tottenham bodies in the box now. In the first half, he didn't see that. They had 5 touches in the opposition box in the first half. They had 18 in the second. That tells its own story. The goal was coming before it actually did. You know, just flooding that box, occupying the defenders. They didn't know who to mark. In the first half, it was Harry Kane, if you're lucky, maybe Son, and they had it nice and comfortable. One could cover the next. Midfield players were entering the box, wide players, extra wing-backs. All of a sudden, they're thinking, wow, we're outnumbered ourselves here.
Yeah, which is exactly what Conte would have wanted.
It's exactly what he changed. He changed the style of the play. He got more energy from the players, on the front foot more, got players further forward, and it worked to perfection in the second half. And that's what he will want. That's what he will demand. And if you don't give him that, he'll be out of the team and someone else will be in it.
Yeah. Spurs' equaliser was coming, wasn't it?
It was coming, yeah. They got the ball out to Reguilon. We talked about it in the first half. That's where their strengths are. Emerson Royale, I've still got a question mark on it. Reguilon has got good delivery when he gets in the final third. It was unlucky. It was a good challenge there. I think it was Phillips on Kane. And Lucas Moura keeps it alive. And as he cuts it back to Højbjerg, listen, he's in the box. Yes, he's got a nosebleed because he's gone so far forward. But he manages to scuff the one into the corner. But look at the numbers in the box here. Harry tries to get across Phillips. He defends it well. And Moura keeps it alive. And then Højbjerg decides, I'm going to step in the box. Great pick out. And he just scuffs it into the corner. Yeah. But they deserved that. You know, they were pressing and pressing. It was just a matter of time before it come.
Is this one of those finishes, Al, where if you hit it cleanly, you might get it saved?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a little bit of luck that they needed, but they're there. All the players are there. 2 wing-backs are there. Yes, he does scuff it and he hits it into the ground, where it helps it go into the back of the net, but he won't care a jot. It's the goal they needed, and that's the lift they needed. And then they went on and pushed on after that.
But that's quite telling as well, isn't it? Not only Antonio Conte, which we're used to seeing, kind of almost reflecting the emotions of the home crowd, but even Højbjerg running back to the halfway line, saying this is a job only halfway done. We're not done yet.
We talked about it earlier. When we talked about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yesterday, going up to the crowd at Watford, almost submitting. Yeah, the players look at their manager and they mirror it. If you're mirroring this guy, you know you're going to play with intensity. You know, you can only see, look at the side, look at him in that dressing room, the way he's marching up and down. You don't get the beauty of seeing it. By talking to the players, you know he's intense, and you have to mirror it because he demands that. And if you don't give him that, you won't play. Alan's absolutely right. Don't matter who you are. He's learning about this team. But that is perfect. That's exactly what the fans want to see. What do they want to see? Someone passive, standing on the side or sitting on his seat? They don't want to see that. They want to see what they saw today in that second half from Antonio Conte. Even the first half. Because like I said, at half-time, could not wait to get in that dressing room and sort it out.
This guy hasn't come to Tottenham Hotspur to finish 4th or 5th or 2nd. This guy has come to win. It might not happen this season. It might not happen next season. I know he's only got an 18-month contract, but what you'll see is that you'll see a big improvement in them. But what he demands from the players and from himself, he's also going to demand from the board that they back him, because he's a winner. Wherever he's been, he wins trophies, and he wins big trophies. And he will want to do that at Tottenham. He will not want to settle for second place. He'll want to push the big boys. You've seen that drive today. It's been a great day for him because it didn't work in the first half. He sent that Tottenham team out to do a specific job. They couldn't do it. He had to change things at half-time, and that was the first test for him in front of his players, to say, well, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do something different. He did that, and it worked. They upped the energy levels, but he got it from the players, he got it from himself. He's also going to demand, as I said, from the board in January, that they back him up, because for Tottenham to get where they want to be and where they hope to be, where they were a couple of years ago, they're going to need reinforcements.
As for the winning goal, we heard from the man himself, Sergio Reguilon, on hand to react the quickest, I suppose, off Eric Dyer's free kick.
Yeah, Eric, to get a deflection there, I think he's... But listen, fortune favours the brave. Look at Reguilon on the left-hand side there. He's the one who anticipates it. He anticipates it might come off the post and he's got an easy tap in. All credit to him. They get lucky again with the strike. It was a fortunate goals, but they pushed forward. You know, they deserved it in the end, and Reguilón deserved it because he was non-stop up and down there. Yes, he's used a lot of energy there today, but he will get fitter and stronger the more and more he works with this man, Antonio Conte. I'm delighted for him. Look, take less energy out of your celebration. Then you might be able to stay on the pitch longer.
Yeah, a great time for him to get his first Spurs goal. And wing-backs, in the end, they are instrumental behind Antonio Conte's system.
Well, that's the way he wants to play. It is a demand, because you heard Reguilón say he wants us to attack, he wants us to defend. But to do that, you've got to be super fit. And they will be, as Tim said, they'll get fitter, they'll get better. But that's what he is going to demand from them. He wants them to be brave in possession and tough to beat out of it.
Yeah. The one thing he can't do, I suppose, Antonio Conte, is waiting till half-time to make that change to turn things around. Why can't they start like the way they did in the second half?
Well, I think with given time, they will. I mean, it's, like I said, it's still a work in progress. He hasn't had an awful lot of time of.
Was that a reminder of the job in hand for him, really?
Yeah, he knows that. He's no fool. He knows. But
I also think
the reaction was good.
I think it was perhaps expected because there's been that many players away from Tottenham Hotspur, the international week, that he hadn't had the time to work with them in terms of fitness and structure and the system that he wants. But now they've got a full run. There's no international fixtures till February or March, I think.
March,
I think it is. So he's got all that time now to put his work into place. And as I said, there's no doubt in my mind that they will improve.
Actually, it's a good point, because I asked you earlier in the day, this 2 weeks would have come as a blessing in disguise in the build-up to this game to get his ideas across. But when you're without all your best players, who are, of course, internationals, maybe it wasn't the best time.
No, because you ended up working with players you're learning.
Fringe players.
I mean, Harry Winks forced his way into the team by proving in training up against Dele Alli. He could have easily thrown Dele into that. He could have thrown Ndombele into it. He won it. He won the race to get his opportunity. Tanganga plays instead of Davinson Sanchez. So the ones who stayed behind and proved to the man on the training field that they're up to the job, got the opportunity to play. Now, when they get on that pitch and get the shirt on, they've got to keep doing the job. You talked about the wing backs. They are massively important. That way, they're OK going forward. Yeah. I'm not sure about Royale. I know Reguilón is fantastic going that way. If you look at Leeds United goal, it is a poor decision from him. You know, he doesn't want to get back in. He's got no urgency. And unfortunately, just slip on the inside of him and tap it into the net. But Antonio be seeing that. You know, because they won the game, it's easier to go to Reguilón. You've done so many good things, son, but this is what you need to get better at. And he can teach him along the way. OK, we'll look back at that Leeds goal in a second.
How big a contrast in your feelings at half-time and at full-time?
Totally different because in the first half we struggle a lot physically, about the intensity, also tactically, because they put a lot of pressure man on every time we had the ball. I think in the second half we've changed something tactically, and also we want to go to play in the same intensity of Leeds, maybe higher. And before the game, I was a bit afraid, to know after 3 weeks and to know very well the physical condition of the player, if they were able to play the whole 90 minutes with the intensity of the second half. And I'm pleased because I have seen that in the second half we played very well, and Leeds in the first half they lead the game. In the second half, I think we deserve to win. We created many chances to score, and this is a point to start. And I say this to my players, and they have to understand that if we want, we can.
Just how concerned were you in that first half when your team were flat, Leeds were on top, and also the crowd were very flat? And you said to us before the game about the importance of the crowd.
Yeah, but The crowd. I think the feeling of the crowd many times depends of us. And for sure, in the first half, we didn't play well, and we lost many tackle, and maybe to concede a goal at the last minute of the first half was good. Was good because then in the second half. I spoke with the players. We have changed the plan, and I was very pleased because they showed me a great will, great desire to win this game. And this game wasn't easy, and we knew this also because I read the stats, and Leeds was the first for run for the intensity, and. Instead, I think in the second half, we changed something tactically, and also in the intensity, we beat them.
The changes you made tactically, do you think perhaps though more importantly was the mentality change for the second half?
Both because you can have also a good mentality, but then if you're not good enough to go to press when they have the ball, then you run and you lose confidence. And it happened in the first half, and in the second half I correct the situation, also because I have seen that Phillips dropped in the defensive line, and then I created us a lot of problems in the first half. In the second half, we have changed the plan, and then we put pressure, and I think we won. We won the game. We deserved to win because we created chances to score. We played, I think, attracting football, and the crowd was with us. But I'm sure about this. And for sure, this is a moment that there is not a great confidence, great feeling. But we must be good to create again this, and our support, our fans, has to know this, that we want to change everything. Then it doesn't mean that we'll win every game, but for sure we want to fight and to create a problem every game to our opponents.
What did you make of his comments there, Tim?
Yeah, fair. I think he's an honest guy. He obviously wasn't pleased with the first half, and he's quite right. He made changes. It was a mentality change and a tactical change. What he made pushed more bodies forward, off guard by the Calvin Phillips dropping into the back line. I think, like Alan said, this guy's got proper passion, real charisma, but he's also very demanding. And we saw him. He accepted the fans' reaction at half-time when they booed him off, took it on the chin, gone in there, obviously very frustrated, told the boys what he think, adjusted a few things, probably calmed down, sent them out early. And then when they got back in the game and then they actually go ahead, he demands then from the fans. Normally the fans demand from the players. This guy demands the fans. So we've given you what you want. We've got ourselves back in front. Now you support us till the end. And he was asking them time and time again, wasn't he? Turning to them, raising his arms. We need you now. That is what he's going to do. He's going to continue to do it. And I think these Tottenham fans are going to love him.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it, how the players react and respond to the crowd, especially having just come off the back of lockdown and pandemic. We even saw it in the Arsenal-Liverpool game, with a tussle behind the manager, something goes off, and suddenly they spark into life, and it can feed through as a player, can't it?
There's no doubt about it that you feed off the fans' attitude. When they're up, they're boisterous, they're shouting, it makes you feel important, it makes you feel special. But that's when you find out about your good characters and your good players, when it's not going so well. Because football's easy when you're winning games, when things are going well for you. You find out who your good characters are and your good players when football's not going so well for you. Who's the guy that's going to show that give me the ball when the fans are booing and what have you. Then you find out your good players. So that's what he's also finding out about. Well, OK, it didn't go so well for us. Who were the guys that wanted the ball? Who were the guys who were hiding? Because it's all right when things are going really well for you. You don't really find out who your good characters are.
Antonio Conte in that interview, shedding some light as to what needed to change to clearly change the momentum of that game. The first half in particular, would have given him plenty of cause for concern here, Tim?
I think they were just pinned back into a 5, you know, but Reguilon and Romero had to push on. I think the switch was on constantly. Like that, it was too easy. They dominated the game. They controlled the football match, Leeds. And in the second half was a complete contrast. You know, he went in there, he's obviously told them what he felt, he pushed them on. Look at Emerson Royale, Reguilon up there, high. Now all of a sudden, they asking the Leeds players questions. They're asking them, where do you need to be? Are you happy staying back there? They wasn't. In the end, they just pinned them back. Time and time again, they made forward runs. I mean, they could have scored more goals than they actually did. But they were calling the shots, Tottenham, in the second half because of their pressing of the ball out of possession, but also in possession, they flooded the box and threw more bodies forward. And they ended up just pinning Leeds back out.
Well, he said it. Phillips went into the centre-half position and Spurs couldn't adjust to that in that first half. So he thought, OK, if you're going to go into the centre-half position, I'm going to put my 2 wing-backs high up. I'm going to put Moura, Son and Kane together in the middle and let's see what you're made of now. Are you prepared to go 5v5, which then Leeds were because they do that? Then Spurs had the better of the... So what that did was that enabled the Spurs back 3 and the midfielders to get 10 or 15 yards further up the park. So instead of playing the football in the Spurs half, like they were in the first half, they were playing it in the Leeds half in the second half. And that's how they got the bodies in and around the 18-yard box, and that's how they got their goals.
Tim, it also requires a level of bravery, does it not? Especially if you're playing as a centre-half. For the likes of Japhet Tanganga, who won't have been encouraged to venture into the opposition half.
Yes, it does. But when you're playing against a team, like I say, who are
there for the taking,
bottom of the league, you know, you're 1-0 down, you throw caution to the wind. You have no choice but to go for it. Now, they're gonna have to play a different way when they're playing against the top teams. You know, you play that way against Liverpool, you play that way against Chelsea or the Man Cities of this world, you get beat. So he's going to have to find a different way. But the guy's a clever coach. He can adjust. He certainly can adjust. He needs to find out which players can adjust as well.
Yeah,
he's about to go on a journey. He's going to say to his players, "Do you want to come with me, or are you going to be left behind? If you want to be left behind, no problem at all. If you don't want to get fitter, you don't want to improve, we'll just wave you goodbye and we'll bring other people in who are prepared to do that." Bigger tests await. All having said that, they've got a good run of fixtures up until the middle of December, which have all got winnable games, which we'll show you there. So give it another 4 or 5 weeks. They'll be fitter, they'll be stronger, they'll be better, and they can win a lot, if not all of those games. But then, as we say, bigger and better tests will wait for them. But he'll not look that far. He'll look at those games and think, with the attitude that he showed in the second half, they can go and pick up some points and win games.
I'm not sure they can hand-pick a better run of fixtures. We know it's very difficult in the Premier League. You know, anyway, such a competitive league. But for me, after them fixtures, they'll be 4th in the league. Worst-case scenario.
He talks about his incredible journey if you're a player. Even from us watching it from afar, it's going to be quite fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's just box office, isn't he? You know, it's great to have him back in the Premier League. We've got the best managers in the world in this league. You know, it's great to have him. And I'm delighted to see him back. I'm delighted to see him back in London and at Tottenham, because I think if he would have held on for a couple
he could have been somewhere else.
He could have been certainly up the northwest.
Every football team should mirror what their manager is. He should stamp his personality and his authority on the football. Look at what Man City did with Pep. Look at Liverpool with Jurgen. Look at now with Tuchel with Chelsea. The big football clubs mirror their manager in terms of the passion and the system they want to play. They all have their ideas. This guy's no different. As I said, he's got a group of players now which he'll whether he's said it to them yet, I don't know, but if he hasn't, I'm sure it's coming. We're going to go places. If you want to come with us, do what I'm asking you to do. If you don't, we'll replace you and we'll get rid of you and bring players in who want to.